As the creative director for Sideshow, one of the most exciting angles that I get to play is with the Sideshow originals. And it's the obvious reason is because we get to control the creativity here. We're not copying anything necessarily. We don't have any oversight other than ourselves and I guess the general parameters of what's cool. There's some characters that have been in the background of our development that we're reaching back now to kind of take from their 6-scale roots and repurpose and reimagine in our flagship premium format lines. And the character we're talking about now is Vlad the Impaler. Definitely, of all the historical characters we've ever dealt with, the one that really has sprung up in mythology that has made him so much larger than life and is, in many ways, you can argue, sort of set the vampire myth in motion. And so to come at this character with a renewed energy and a renewed format, and one in which we could do something that was really uncompromising in the form of having to worry about articulation or things relative to the 6-scale interpretation we did originally, we could just kind of go for it. And we even kind of went for it just in the philosophy about how we wanted to go about this. And that was that I said, look, I understand this is a historical character, but his mythology is so much bigger than that I think we really need to go for the iconic here and interpret him in a way that really is more of a horror art piece than a historical representation. So while we've woven some historical aspects into his costuming, the representation is complete horror movie. We wanted to conjure up a sequence that might evoke him on the battlefield, which, as those of you well aware of what went on there, when he won a battle, he really ended it in bloody style, impaling his victims and just creating a swath of death and destruction. And we wanted to get a sense that this is what the character was gesturing to and commanding his troops to make happen. So he's got this great posture where his sort of mace is gesturing off into the distance, and this maniacal look in his face that just is trying to evoke that sense that he's just completely lost his mind in the bloodlust of what he's gotten carried away with. Created this great Hungarian-influenced medieval robe that he's wearing that's got a real fur trim. It's all in bright red scarlet to kind of convey that red on black element that just really just screams what later became Dracula and the vampire mythos, to me anyway. We gave him a banner pennant, so much like a knight, he's sort of flying his own colors, which we sort of interpreted in the dragon motif we put on the banner. The base is a washed out, mud-strewn killing field, conglomeration of skulls and bones that are kind of washing up in the sense that, maybe the rain is sweeping this battlefield and the victims of his past horror shows are starting to kind of rise up through the ground. And we also kind of took it one step further in the sense that we did a portrait that was very much based on a lot of the medieval paintings of him, but we brought more reality to it, gave him an interesting, his teeth are kind of crooked and whatnot, and so we really didn't give him a glamorous portrait, but we really gave him one that kind of had some power. But we felt like, let's just go the next level and step right into the vampire myth and go ahead and do another portrait that really represents him as a vampire. So, he actually has the fangs. His face is even more pale and more bloodshot in his eyes. His hair is a little wilder. And, we sort of finished off this plate mail armor that he's wearing with this Slade style helmet with a visor that's got a bit of a horned wolfen dragon kind of style to it. And this head then sort of represents what the vampire myth that he progenited becomes. And so in the end, we had this, just a great experience with this piece. It was a lot of fun. We're really enjoying the Sideshow original tract that we're getting to be able to do with characters like Blackbeard and whatnot. But when it came to Vlad, we really said, look, we can incorporate all the fun that we have with Freddy Krueger and Jason and even the classic monsters, but go for something that, kind of resonates in our real world and is sort of a real world monster. This is all about fun and, creating collections that kind of, capture people's imaginations is, one of our paramount missions. And I think this is a really good example of where we've struck out at this and achieved a subject that just, hits the nail on the head.